But it's interesting because if you think about this, and we'll talk about some business-to-consumer type examples of these triggers, but that's a classic example of what drives people to change. So from what I have been told, the birth of a child is the number one thing that drives more people to buy life insurance than every other single event combined.
Yes.
And you have the event of having a kid. So what happens? You change where you live, you buy a new car, right? You get insurance, you get a will, all this stuff based upon that single event. So for any business that can figure out these events, there's all these opportunities just from one single event or two events they figure out.
Yeah.
Right?
So how would someone figure? Do you say map out a process or a profile of somebody that says this is the stuff that would trigger these sort of things, right? That would, like you say, buying life insurance would be kind of one of those things. I have a kid, life change, boom. Or even if you use a divorce, same sort of thing. Now all of a sudden I need to get a lawyer. B, I need to figure out where I'm going to live now. C, blah blah blah, all that stuff, right? Like that's. So would you recommend to companies that if they want to target an ideal client and then figure out what those trigger events are, just say, this is Mary, who is 34 years old and has just become divorced or just become a mom or whatever, and here's all the things she's looking for. Would that be a process?
So that's a process, but here's the way that I start the process. The way I start the process in the book, and anybody can go download the template with instructions, you just go to windowofdissatisfaction.com, and what happens is, what I get you to look at is just make a list of the last 10 or 15 wins that you've got. And there are some characteristics of these wins when you got to someone in the window of dissatisfaction. They happen fast. People make decisions without talking to the competition. They're referenced. People are glad to be a reference. They pay a higher price. There's certain characteristics about these businesses or these opportunities. And what you want to do first is you want to figure out, of all the business I've won, how many had these characteristics? And then once you've got that list of those that had the characteristics, you want to pick up the phone or go meet the people you actually made the sale with, and you want to ask them some very simple questions. So that's part of this other piece I call the One Sales Analysis. So I own this domain name, One Sales Analysis, WON salesanalysis.com, and it gets probably 2,000 or 3,000 hits a month, just because people are now thinking about, how do I analyze my wins to replicate my wins? So once you've figured out who are the customers you want to replicate, so they're big deals, happen fast, they don't complain about price, and they're willing to be a reference. So you identify
WON analysis?
WON sales analysis. But I may or may not own also the domain name One Analysis. If I don't, as soon as I get finished here, I'm going to go buy it.
Yep.
I'm already ahead of you, Craig. I'll sell it to you for
because here's one of the things I've also done. What I've learned to do is protect all the intellectual property that I have created. So if you go to the internet and type by mistake One Sales Analysis as in ONE, it comes to my website. The number one, it comes to my website. You type in Law Sales Analysis, it comes to my website. So I'm a big believer that a lot of business, even though it's inspired by triggers, is created by word of mouth. So somebody tells somebody else about this One Sales Analysis, and no matter how you misspell it, you're going to come to my website. So I own almost 300 domain names related to what I teach.
Wow.